Okay, this is Tuesday, April 3rd. Homework. Homework is page 392, 21 through 32. So 21, we're looking right here, 28.3, page 392, 28.3, and 21. So 21, you have -6, -6, and they want the polar coordinates. You can either do this on the calculator or by hand. Personally, I think it's easier by hand, so I'm going to do it by hand. R is x squared and x squared, which is 72, which, if you do a factor tree, or know that 72 is 36 and 2, it's 6 radical 2. That's R. The angle, arctan of 6 over 6 is 1. So it has something to do with 45 degrees, but it's in the what quadrant? Negative, negative, third quadrant. So third quadrant would be 180 plus 45 for a 225. So your answer is 6 radical 2, 225. On the calculator, let's see what it looks like. So you'd go second apse or second angle. You'd go 5, and then do -6, comma, -6. And that's what 8.49 is what this is. And then if you do second angle 6, -6, comma, -6, you get -135. So this is just another way of writing the same thing that I just wrote. -135 and 225 are the same thing. So this is the way the calculator, this is on the calculator. This is by hand. Both correct. Okay. Do we really need to do all of these? I don't think we should, but so many of them. What was I thinking? 22, -3, 0. All right, so what is R? R is -3 squared, which is 9, plus 0 squared. So R is 3. That was easy. And then arctan of 0 over 3 is 0, right? So basically, what angle has a tan of 0? It is 0. So you would say, now, you have to remember, this is -3, 0. So that's on the -3, 0. Sorry, guys, you can't even see what I'm doing. -3, 0 is on the left axis. So if you're just plotting that, it's over here. So if you're just trying to write that, you could say 3 at 180, or you could say -3 at 0 degrees. They're both correct. Because 0 degrees is over here, but negative means to go the opposite way. Or if you're at 180, you just go that way. I'm curious to see what the calculator would tell us. Second apse, 5, you got -3, comma, 0. Gives you 3. So since they give you 3, they should give you a 180 answer. So the angle should be 180. -3, comma, 0. 180. So 3, 180. So it looks like calculator does that way. I like that one too. But this one's correct too. All right. I do not think that we're going to do all of these. I might just give you the answers for some of these. So we have 8, -15. By hand, R is 8 squared and 15 squared, which is 64 and 225, which is 289, which is 17. Angle, arctan of 15 over 8. What quadrant are we in? We are in quadrant 4. So whatever we get for this, we're going to take 360 minus that. So we're going to go arctan 15 divided by 8. So I'm going to put that right here. So 360 minus that. I think I'll just go copy that. 298.07 degrees. That's your answer. 24. Now, if you did it on the calculator, they're probably going to give you, it'll probably be a negative 61.93. On the calculator, it's probably 17 negative 61.93. That's probably what they're going to give you. So 24, 12, and 14. Let's do this one on the calculator. Let's just mix it up. Second apps, 5, 12, comma, 14. This is in the first quadrant, so this should be, so your R is 18.44. And since this is in the first quadrant, whatever answer we get is our answer. 12, comma, 14. Oops, that's not right. Second apps, 6, 12, comma, 14. 49.4 degrees. Done. 25, and might as well just keep going here. We'll just use the calculator. Let's do the calculator. This is in the third quadrant. Sorry, my phone just... Okay, so we have second apps 5, negative 4, comma, negative 7. So our R is 8.06. And the angle is second apps 6, negative 4, negative 7. So it says negative 119. But as a positive, you want to figure out what that would be? Negative 119. If you did arctan of 7/4, 60, and you're in the third quadrant, so it would be 180 plus 60. So it'd be like, what, 240.26? It doesn't seem like that's the same angle, but I guess that's about 120. So it's about the same thing. So you could also have this if you did it by hand. Either one works. And 26. I think we're going to try this one by hand. It looks like one of those ones that we can do by hand. All right, so here's 26. By hand, R equals 3 squared, which is 9. 3 radical 3 squared. If you square this, you get 9 times 3, so that'd be 27, which is 36, which is 6. Okay, so just square both of these. You'll get 36, which is 6. So that's your R. Your angle is arctan of 3 radical 3 over negative 3, but we're not going to use the negative. 3's cancel, so it's arctan of radical 3, which is 60. But we are in the second quadrant, right? Second quadrant. So it's 180 minus 60, 120. So your answer should be 6 and 120. Sound good? Just checking my answers with the book right now. So I don't even see the answers anywhere in the book. 21, 26. I don't even see these answers. Oh, there it is. 6, 120. I'm checking the answers for you guys. Just a second. 8.06. Yes. 24. Yes. 23. Yes. 22. 3 and 180. All right. We're good to go. So 27. Now we're going to graph some of these. I wish I could give you some graph paper, but you can graph your own polar graphs if you want. They want us to graph each equation and convert it to rectangular form. Let's do 5 rings. Let each one go by -2. So here's what -10 means to me in cosine. Cosine means it's going to be symmetric to the x-axis. The -10 to me means we're going to be going this way. That means that's the diameter. Diameter is 10. That means to me the center should be like -5. I think we're going to have a point way over here at negative 10 on the x-axis. Let's see if we're right. Let's graph it. So we have negative 10 cosine of theta. For those people that don't know, if you are just coming to the, like maybe you didn't look at the notes, you got to go to mode. Switch your calculator from function to polar right here. So negative 10 cosine of theta. So here we go. Let's graph this. See how the diameter is 10? So it's got a diameter of 10 and the center is going to be negative 5, 0. Symmetric to the x-axis. So we got to get some points now. We know there's a point here and we know there's a point here. We just need some points here. So let's go by 30s. So we got 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270. Since everything's over here, if they give you a 30, they're going to give you a negative number. So if you wanted to, you could just go from 180, you could go from 90 to 270 to get these ones over here. So let's look at our t-table. So for example, see I have all the 30s on the right-hand side are negatives. You can still use these. But I prefer just to go start at 90. So there's 90. 90 is 0. Remember, the R is on the right-hand side. So 0, 90, 5, 120. So at 120, you're at 5. So that's 120. At 150, you're at 8.66. Oh, I'm sorry, these went by 2. Oh, this is wrong because I forgot these were going by 2s. Let's go back to that one. This one's 5, so it's 2, 4, 5. This first one's here, not here. Because I went by 2s. 150 is 8.6, so we were going by 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8.6. It's about right here. And then 210 is 8. Same thing. 2, 4, 6, 8.6. And then 240 is 5. 2, 4, 5. And this is how you draw your circle. So it's not going to look like a nice circle because we don't have, first of all, good polar graph, but it's going to be pretty circular. It's going to look more elliptical, but it really is a circle on a rectangular graph. So how do we get rectangular coordinates for this? So you could just do it. Let's just do it the hard way. So you have to know that r is equal to x squared plus y squared. And you have to know that cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, which the adjacent side is always the x and the hypotenuse is always the r. So x is x, but r we know is right here, x squared plus y squared. So this is what cosine theta is equal to. So we have r, so let's go back up to our original. Let's go up to our original. So we have r. Well, r is equal to x squared plus y squared. That's what r equals. Equals negative 10 times cosine of theta. This is what cosine of theta equals. So it's x over x squared plus y squared. So we can actually just go ahead and make the 10x right in the top. So negative 10x in the top over this. Put this over 1, and we're going to cross multiply. So this is x squared plus y squared equals negative 10x. Now we're going to add this to the other side and make the side equal to 0. Half of 10 is 25. Add 25 to the other side. So this is x plus 5 squared plus y squared equals 25 for a center of negative 5, 0, radius r. Radius 5. So this is rectangular form. This is polar form. So let me show you a better way of doing this. Can I do that for you guys real quick? I know the book does it this way, but here's some things I know. I know that r equals x squared plus y squared. Well, that means that r squared equals x squared plus y squared, right? If you square both sides, it just equals this. So keep this in mind. That's one thing. Also, x is equal to r times cosine of theta. Remember these? We've done these in our book in section 2. X equals r cosine theta and y equals r sine theta. So these are some other things that you should know. All four of these are important little facts. So when I see an r equals negative 10 cosine of theta, I'm not even sure if what I'm doing is going to work out, but I'm just trying it. What I would do is, first step is, I would multiply both sides by r. So that gives you an r squared equals negative 10. I'm going to put the r right here. Multiply both sides, so I gave each side an r. So I squeezed an r in between here, and I gave this r an r squared. Now r squared up here is x squared plus y squared. See this r cosine theta? That equals x. So this equals negative 10x. And then the rest of it's the same. I don't know if that helps you or not. Is that too hard? Up to you. Is this another way to get the same answer? Try it if you like it. If not, don't. 28. Listen, I'm not doing all these. Let's just pick one with a sign. So if you're watching the video, you're going to get out of a couple homework problems. We're not going to do 28. It's too similar to 27. But let's talk about 28. It's going to be symmetric to the x-axis, and it's going to have a diameter of 5. So the center is going to be 2.5, 0. So if I was just doing that problem, actually I'll do it without work. Shoot, what am I writing? R equals 5 cosine theta. So I know it's got a diameter of 5, so that means to me that the radius is 2.5. It's going to be on the positive x-axis. So like it's going to be over here, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be a circle that looks like this. So 2.5 is the center. So if you were just trying to write an equation of that, the x minus 2.5 squared plus y squared, because it's right on the x-axis, so the y is 0, equals 2.5 squared, which I think is 6.25. So that should be your answer without doing any work. So 29, we will do one of these ones with, so we have r equals negative 8 sine theta. So what this means to me is that it's symmetric to the y-axis, and it should be down at the bottom part of it. Let's see if I'm right. So we have negative, let's clear this out, negative 8 sine theta. See how it's down there below? So if you're graphing it, let's do 4 rings. Starts at 0, 0, and it's going to end there. It's going to be somewhere around in here. So we need these other points. Let's just look at the t-table to get our other points. So we're going to be needing, you could use these ones up here and do the negatives, but I think I would like to do 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, and 0. Well, we already got 0. So let's go down here to 180. 180 is 0. Let's go to 210. 210 is 4. So we went by, let's go by 2. So 2, 4. This is 210. 240 is almost 7. 2, 4, 6, almost 7. So about right there. And then notice 270 is 8. So these are symmetric, so we can kind of just keep going here and then draw your circle. It's your polar curve. Rectangular wise, if you're just trying to think what this is, you would think that your center is probably, what, 0, negative 4, and the radius is 4. So if you're trying to write an equation of that circle, you would say x squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 16, and you'd be done without doing work. The way the book does it, actually, I don't even like the way the book does it. I'm going to do it the way I do it. Multiply both sides by r. Squeeze the r in between 8 and sine theta. So r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. R sine theta is really y. So add this to the other side, but put it next to the y squared. So we're looking at the y's here. What's half of 8? 4. 4 squared is 16. So it's x squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 16. Same thing with work. Okay, we're done with that. So 31. Consider a polar form of the curve given by r equals a sine theta, where a cannot equal 0, and whose graph is a circle. How does the sine a affect the graph of the circle? So we did a few of these. So a, this is a. A is the diameter of the circle. If a is positive, it goes right or up, depending on if it's cosine or sine. If a is negative, it goes left or down, depending on cosine and sine. B, what is the relationship between the absolute value of a and the radius of the circle? The radius of the circle is half of that. What are the rectangular coordinates of the center of the circle in terms of a? Well, let's think. The center was 0, -4, and this was -8, right? So the y-coordinate is half of that. The one we did on the other side, this 5, the radius is half of that. Okay, so I would just say 0 and a/2 would be your center. Or that's if it's on the y-axis, and if it's on the x-axis, it'd be a/2, 0. I'd do absolute value a. No, not absolute value. Whatever a is. If a is negative, it'd be negative. If a is positive, don't do absolute value. It's wrong. All right. I hope that you understood that. I'm kind of talking to myself. All right, here we go. Real problem. A park ranger's car has broken down in a forest. A map shows that he is 2.5 miles east and 2 miles north of his cabin. These are rectangular coordinates. 2.5 east and 2 miles north. The ranger plans to walk in a straight line from his car to the cabin. Okay, so here's his cabin. We're going to give him a polar here. So 2.5 is somewhere in this area. He plans on walking straight there. Explain how you can use polar coordinates to determine the direction the ranger should head and how many miles he will walk. Well, since we know that r equals 2.5 squared and 2 squared, that'll give us the distance that he needs to go. Okay, so we're going to square both of the rectangular coordinates. So it's square root of 2.5 squared plus 2 squared equals 3.2. So his distance he's going to walk is about 3.2 miles if he goes straight back to the cabin from where he ran out of gas. Okay, at what angle should he walk? How about we do it on the calculator? Second angle, 6, 2, comma, 2.5. 2.5, comma 2. 38.66. Remember how we always do, like, put the compass right here? See how I just put a compass right there? What direction should he head back to the cabin? That is south of west. So we're going to go 38.66 degrees south of west. That's what I would say. That's what the calculator is right there, the angle. So that is it. That's what I would say. Oh my gosh, is there another problem? Now that's it. We're done.